Good morning, Patriots. Flag bearer here. Actually, today I am, for a minute anyway, not bearing the flag. I dislocated my left shoulder again last night. I was able to work it kind of back in, but it's setting on a nerve. And, boy... I moved my arm a little wrong, and I see lights and stuff, man. I usually have a pretty good turnaround. I back in 2001, I was in a one-car Vietnam vet car crash, and I had a hairline fracture in my left shoulder and my left wrist and elbow and couple of ribs, three ribs on the right side, and a few little things like that. I bit it pretty good. The people behind me thought that the car had flipped, but when I hit the guardrail, it kind of went up and went 180 degrees into the bank, and just killed my little car, my little Plymouth Horizon. And that happened on a Thursday night. I checked myself out of the hospital that morning against their protests, and went to work the following Monday. And the guys kind of hid me around a little bit. But by the third day, I was able to do work that other people were doing. I couldn't do what I typically did. I couldn't lift my arm up above my shoulder or anything like that. But I made it work. I made it, through and stayed in the apprenticeship. This time of year, it seems like there's so many months, but the month of February, most of my family was born in, except my sister Dolores, who was born on the 24th of December, and me that was born on the 24th of March. So now that I'm through the personal stuff, there's a lot of exciting things happening, and most of it is that the investigations that are being ongoing, we're starting to get information on what was going on there. And for you people who are kicking, I'd just like to say, I don't know about anybody else, but my vote with Donald Trump was for him to drain the swamp at any cost. I'm coming up on 70 years old, and I've seen a lot of this planet and a lot of our country and a lot of our government. And it's important, and it's a time that we have to get back to the basics. What are the basics, in my opinion? Okay? What are the basics, in my opinion? Well, how about taking your share? Everybody's taught to get as much as you can so that the other people can feel a little bad about it. And that's my take on that. I'm thrilled that we're through the FISA things. Now, once they actually start acting on the FISA warrants and the illegal, the way that they obtain them, then I believe that things are going to start popping. I don't know, everybody in our groups have been asking, who would you want pop first and this, that, and the other. Of the ones still living, it'd be, oh boy, I just, Hillary Clinton, to me, killed Barack Obama's presidency. They put her in there on that super delegates. I was a Democrat, man. It broke my heart to find out about our Democratic Party. A guy named Sean, I think it was Palmer, after Seth Rich was murdered, we sued the DNC And I say we, I just broadly, I'm not even a contributor. I can't contribute to anything right now. I'm going out backwards. But I'll tell you this. Whoever it is, once it starts popping, there are so many sealed indictments for so many people. And most of them are really well researched. And they've been very careful and preparing and presenting these cases. And the clock, I for years now, I thought they were going to rush to it. But now I see the methodical nature in what they're doing. And I'm all for us. Our plan is a good plan. Our intentions of having this be, my words, not anybody else's, a levolution, versus just a house cleaning and anybody that's a Christian that's talking this hate stuff and revenge stuff, if you're really a Christian, you better get on your knees. Christ put up with a whole bunch more stuff than we ever had to, and he, to the end, did not abandon his ministry in any way. And what was that ministry? How about getting right with yourself, with your God, your neighbors, and your enemies? I was a mascot for an incredible Highway 99 Blues Club here in Seattle. I call myself a mascot. I was Uncle Freddie there, and I loved them, and I love them. We had all kinds of different political beliefs and this, that, and the other, but the one thing we had in common was we loved them blues, and we loved the people that played them and the people that were drawn to them, and we had an incredible family there. And there was gays, and there was this, and there was that, and oh my goodness. My Christian friends had a terrible time with it. And not all of them. And for me, it was a place that I was accepted and loved. And I didn't have any reason for them to accept and love me other than, one of the owners invited me in, said I could do anything that the owners did except tell the employees what to do. And I thought about it. I had to think about it because, I'm in this thing that I'm trying to be, I'm working on being rigorously honest and all this stuff. And I figured out that, if my only job was to love the people there and to kind of nurture that, that's the job I was born for, And we had a great time with it. They just raised the rent to where we couldn't possibly stay with it and still call it a business. We'd have had to ask for people to contribute to cover the dime on it. And I say I didn't have anything to do with that other than a little bit of knowledge, a little inside knowledge. And they're the greatest group of people that I've ever, I didn't really know a lot about them other than what I knew of the club, and I didn't need to know more. And I miss it. It went down on New Year's Eve last year, a year ago now, over a year ago now. So I'm rambling. So I'm not going to file this under any kind of a cause or anything like that. I'm just going to put it out there and send it to some of my friends. I don't know if I'll even send this one out. I'll just do it and put it up, because it's not dealing with anything other than my what it takes to be me. And I'm going to go, there's a chiropractor here in town that'll see me for, on a heart thing, So I'm going to go see him. I've saved it up for a rainy day, and man, it's raining. My left arm is very angry with me. Not angry with me, it's hurt. And I've done the VA so many times. I went in with a tore hamstring that was uglier than anything I'd ever seen, and I'd seen some guys that pushed themselves pretty good, and they told me to take some aspirin. They gave me an X-ray. They didn't even do an MRI or anything, and told me to go home. And it's been about, I don't know, a bunch of years ago now, and it's still, I can go so far with my conditioning, and then I know that I start tearing again. So I just gotta kind of be wise and be diligent. Look, they're going to be presenting us with facts here real soon. It's going to shake our faith. For me, I have tested the good Lord in His Word many times. And He's never failed. He's never failed. God is with us. Our Father is God, and the whole rest of them are pretty jealous about it. But we ain't even touching our potential. We're being selfish and going after our own personal gains, and that's okay. But until you start playing the long game, life is just kind of be a very unkind place to be. And playing the long game is pretty delicious. Because, like the club, my only job is to love you. And we have a situation that has been ongoing where a group of people in a concentrated manner has tried to make it okay for children under the age of 10, under the age of 15, under the age of 16, to make them adults, as far as, if they want to do it, there's some kind of a consent that can go on there, and that's not true. Even if you don't have a mama and a daddy, that ain't true. And those of you, and I went to prison. I was charged. Did 14 months. Did 14 months for allegedly, and I really, I've always said it. When anybody ever brought it up, if a child said it, it's true. She said it. She also, it got bigger and grander and this and that, but by maintaining my innocence, I got maxed. I have a friend that does this pedophile disclosure thing, and she brings people up that have done horrible things, that do 6 months or are on probation for 10 years or stuff. That wasn't the road they gave me. They put as much pressure, and they messed with me as hard as you could mess with someone. No, that's not true. And get away with it. And I always wondered why, and I think it's because they know that I came to end this shit. A lot of us have had things happen to us before we had language, and that drives us our whole life. Some people say they even inject a second spirit or persona. I don't know of those things because I don't deal in them, but what they've got and had, 3 to 5 years ago, man, they was putting it out. They was doing a campaign with it. It was like an advertising campaign, talking about how great it was. And, oh my God, when WikiLeaks broke open the Pizzagate, when I first started studying on that stuff, they had their own pictures of them in the cellar digging this deal and doing this and that and the other. And then we don't have no basement, you know, but they had a kill room. And I'm telling you that them saying that they ran this out of that place, no, it was just one small place and a bunch of them, except one little thing. Hillary Clinton did her fundraisers there, Barack, a whole bunch of them. And we have tapes, had tapes, I don't know, you know, I didn't archive them off the deal or anything, you know, but I've been told that they got it all. Well, if they got half of what I seen, it's undeniable evidence of criminal activity of a proportion we have not had any experience dealing with. Dealing with a group of people whose beliefs and philosophy are to undo every covenant that we have, to undo it. And they had lists and they've had goals. Ruth Bader Ginsburg in 77 or 79 in there someplace did a deal for the ACLU. She broke it down. Gender, stick boys and girls in prison together. The whole bit. Yeah. And it's real hard to find now. Used to be you could Google it and get in there, but now Google's changed everything around. Yeah. Look, I'm almost on 20 minutes and I haven't said a meaningful thing. Except I'm hurting. I'm off the deal at least until Monday. I hope I can get my arm where I can lift it. I'm holding it in my left hand, but I'll tell you what, I move it and it's just a whole nother deal. So, God bless you. Thank you for your service and your kindness. Don't ever give up on yourself. And don't be afraid to love. But let me tell you a little secret about love. Love is not a selfish thing. Love is when you care so much for somebody other than yourself that you're reaching outside of yourself to benefit another person any way you can to help them. Peace. It's Fred Pepper. Poor, old, defenseless piece of work. My dearest called me an anomaly, a naturally occurring event that cannot be explained. She also said, one of my loves said that I had the sensitivity of a rock, and I was crazy, but I was not as crazy as Salvador Dali. Then Salvador Dali died. And I asked her, well, who's going to be, my milestone? And she looked at me, she goes, baby, I think that's you. Bye.